You're watching Goal.com's mid-season review focusing on the biggest clubs in Europe. Time to talk now about Bayern Munich, and I guess, Pete, a good place to start is, yes, Bayern Munich, but Bundesliga as a whole, generally regarded now, I think, as the third biggest domestic league in Europe, and Bayern is really blazing a trail there.
Not only Bayern, you've got Borussia Dortmund also and Schalke, who've really done extremely well in the Champions League so far this year. 3 group toppers from the Bundesliga, 3 teams in the last 16, and those competing in the Europa League also aren't doing too shabbily either. There's 7 German teams qualified for post-Christmas European football, something which has never happened before. So it's a testament to the financial security, the prudence that's been shown in Germany, and also to the emerging youth structures that the clubs have in place there. It
does feel like we're approaching a real era of not so much dominance, but something's happening in Germany, and like Pete said, much of it stems from the youth systems at the clubs and the national team as well. I was at the Man City Borussia Dortmund, I was at Schalke against Arsenal at the Emirates, and you have to say, it almost feels like the Bundesliga is overtaking the Premier League at the moment. They play really good football, they've got really good young players coming through. And Bayern Munich, as Pete knows, they're absolutely dominating in Germany.
Well, these are the teams that are now challenging Real Madrid and Barcelona as the favourites for the Champions League, and Borussia Dortmund have massively impressed me as well. Bayern Munich probably should have won the Champions League last year. Very unfortunate. You know, Didier Drogba scored very late on for Chelsea, and the rest is history. They had a great start this season in the domestic league. You know, they won their first 8 games. They're flying away with the Bundesliga. You'd fancy them to go on and win it. You know, Dortmund are struggling a little bit in that division, so I would imagine they'd be their biggest challengers. But Bayern Munich will win the league. And then as far as the Champions League goes, they're going to be there or thereabouts again.
They might need to sign a centre-back though, I think, Pete.
Yeah, perhaps, obviously, with Holger Badstuber, who started the season really well. He damaged the cruciate knee ligament against Borussia Dortmund in a recent league game. And also Jerome Boateng stupidly got himself sent off in the last match day of the Champions League, meaning that Dante is probably their only eligible centre-back heading into to those knockout fixtures in February. So whether Jupp Heynckes and Matthias Sammer decide to step into that January transfer window remains to be seen, but certainly a short-term solution. Maybe someone like Arjen Friedrich to come in from MLS side Chicago Fire could be a little short-term solution that they might look at.
They look strong up top at the moment as well. You know, Gomez is coming back, you know, to fitness as well, which will, you know, provide a bit of competition for Mandžukić up front, who's been excellent. He was signed in the summer. Saw him in the Euros. Thought he was excellent, particularly against Ireland, unfortunately. But certainly up front, they've got the firepower that can take them all the way.
And they've taken the mantle back from Dortmund, who took it. So they're showing good character and shows a lot of potential for the season and beyond.
Absolutely. Perhaps a little bit of complacency coming into Dortmund's play in the Bundesliga, considering that their ambitions are now firmly set on the Champions League. But Bayern have really wrestled that mantle back as German powerhouses from Dortmund. And the squad that Jupp Heynckes has assembled this season really is fantastic in every department.
Still unable to beat them though, aren't they?
Still unable to beat them. They still have that hex over them, but I think they would probably take a comfortable Bundesliga championship win over 2 wins over Dortmund any day of the week.
Javi Martinez has been key in that as well, and obviously same with Gomez back. If they do need to sign someone outside of that central defensive position, Sam has not ruled out a move for anybody in January. Where do they go?
Well, I think it's difficult to say, quite simply because they've got such an overabundance of talent all over the pitch. You look at their fullbacks, you've got Philipp Lahm and David Alaba, who are fantastic. Look at the wingers that they have. They've got, obviously, Thomas Muller, Franck Ribery, Arjen Robben, then they've got Toni Kroos, and as Matt says, Gomez and Mandžukić up front. I think a lot of clubs around Europe, you know, they really don't have the options that Bayern Munich have, certainly compared to somebody like an Arsenal, and you would say that Bayern are currently light years ahead of.
And they're not going to buy for this. They're not going to buy for buying's sake either. I think they'd rather wait until the summer and target 1 or 2 key players. I mean, they're the financial powerhouses of Germany as well. They've got the money every year to buy players for 30, 40 million euros. And as Matt was saying about PSG, it could just be a matter of tweaking the team in the summer, buying 1 player, 2 players to push for the Champions League and retain the Bundesliga if they win it this year.
Last word for you then, Greg. Are the Bundesliga teams going to start attracting more big players from England and Spain and Italy?
I think they are, and managers as well. There's a lot of talk that Pep Guardiola could be the next Bayern Munich manager. I think they've made contact with him. So yeah, it's going to be very attractive, and especially with UEFA's financial fair play rules, because that's brought everything in line, and it means that clubs cannot spend more than they earn. And that's what Premier League clubs were doing, Italian clubs were doing, and it's what Spanish clubs have been doing. The German clubs, for the last 10 years, they haven't been doing that. They've been living within their means, excuse me. So it's a massive opportunity for them.
Okay, thanks guys. That was Bayern Munich. For all the latest news, analysis and transfer talk on that and everything else that's happening in Germany, go to goal.com.